channel, Crafty Fox DIYs. In this video, I'm going to be making some signs for my garden. I can't wait to share these with you. Let's get started. For this first project, I am making a welcome to our garden sign. Each of these boards are 13 inches long by 3.5 inches wide, and the support pieces you see there are 9.5 inches long. Now the first thing I'm going to do is drill the holes to put my hanger through, and now I'm measuring to make sure that I get them the same distance from the edge on both sides. Now I only partially drilled the hole, that way I can hang the board off the side of the table and finish drilling it because I don't want to put a hole in my table. Okay, so now once I have those drilled, then I'm going to put some 2x4s onto the table so that way I can put the support boards onto my sign. I'm going to put each of the 3 boards upside down and then take the little support boards. This is going to attach all of these boards together so it makes just one sign. I drill a hole in to the middle one first, and then I'm going to put my drill bit or my screwdriver bit back into the drill and then drill the screw into the middle one. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm just going to do the middle one first, and then I'm going to make sure that I get a screw in each of the 3 boards so that way it's all attached together. And then I just use my hand screwdriver to make sure they're all nice and tight. Then I'm going to take my sanding block and give the whole sign a nice quick sand to make sure that I don't have any splinters or sharp edges on my sign. Now I wanted to paint this an off-white, but I didn't have an off-white, so I just used regular white and then added a little bit of brown paint to it, so that way it would make it more of an off-white color. And then I'm just painting my whole sign using this off-white. I got a phone call there, but I could continue painting while I was on the phone. I just didn't record it. So now I'm just painting the sides of the sign there, getting it all nice and covered. Now I have this stencil, says welcome, and I'm going to use this color. It's called Pink Melon. It's by Folk Art, and I'm going to just stencil the welcome onto the top of the sign. I just go up and down using a stencil brush. I have found that this is the easiest way for me, is to make sure I'm using the right kind of paintbrush for the task that I am doing. And when I'm using stencils, I make sure to just go up and down, no back and forth, no side to side, just straight up and down. And now I'm using, once again, using the correct type of paintbrush. Usually the packages of paintbrushes that you get, you generally buy mine at Walmart. It will tell you what the paintbrushes are for. And the paintbrush I'm using here is a writing paintbrush. And so that's what I'm doing with it. I'm using it to put the letters onto the sign. You could certainly use vinyl or stencils as well, but I wanted to just freehand these on. The color that I used there for the word garden is lime green. It is also by Folk Art. And now I am stenciling on some flowers, and the colors I'm using for the flowers are moon yellow and vivid orange, and those are also both by Folk Art. And now I'm putting a purple butterfly in the center of the middle board there, and the color lavender is also by Folk Art. And the blue that you see there is medium blue. It is also by Folk Art. And these paints are outdoor paints, so that way they will hold up outside, getting rained on and all of that. And once again, just using a writing brush to paint on the words here. And once it's all dry, then I'm just going to take my sanding block and just kind of scuff it up a little bit so it looks like it has already been hanging outside for a little bit and getting weathered. Now once I get that all nice and scuffed up, then I'm going to add my hanger. I'm just using some wire and I'm just threading it through the holes that I drilled in. This one didn't want to go through. I needed to cut the end off. It was a little bent at the end there, so I cut the end off so it would go through. And then I just take these pliers and give the wire a little twist so it gets like a kind of like a curly Q there where the hole is, so that it doesn't easily pull back through once it's hung. Just twist and twist and twist. Just keep twisting. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Just twist and twist and twist until I get it how I want it. And there's that one. Now for this next project, I am making a sign that says "Free weeds, pull all you want." And the size of this board is 20 inches by 5 inches. It's a little bit longer than that, but that is about the size. It is about 20 inches by 5 inches. And the stake that I'm using is about 30 inches. And I just painted it in just a brown color. And I'm taking this stencil because I want to put some leaves on there. And because the sign is such a dark brown color, I am stenciling on the leaves white first. I'm going to go back in with green later, but right now I'm just doing white. And now I am once again using one of the writing paintbrushes, and I'm just going to freehand the words "free weeds." Just using just a simple, capital block letters, nothing fancy or anything. And just do this a couple coats so that way it covers over the brown. And now I was painting on the "pull all you want" on the bottom, and I realized I messed up. So it's a quick fix though. I just painted over it with the brown, sanded it, and then put back over, drying in between though. So that way it just blended in and you couldn't tell that I had messed it up. So then I decided to start with my middle words, which were "all you," and paint those on in the center, and then painted the "want" on the end, and then painted "pull" on the other end. But I just spelled it backwards, starting with the L, so that way it would be more centered. And then I got my leaf stencil again and stenciled over top of the white leaves with the color lime green. Now I'm pre-drilling the holes to attach my stake to my board, and then I'm just going to use screws to attach the stake onto the board. And then that will create a sign that I can stake into the ground by my garden. Now I'm adding this vine. This is just an ivy vine, and that way I want it to kind of look like it's been sitting out there and the vine started growing up around with the sign. And I'm just attaching this to my sign using my stapler. Once I get the vine, where I want it, then I staple it down. I have found that using this is the most secure way to get it to stay on, especially if it's outside. You could use hot glue, especially if you're using the Gorilla Glue sticks. I have had success with that as well, but the stapler is definitely going to make it more durable. Okay, and there's that one. Now for this last sign, I am making one that says "sow, weed, water, grow." And I'm just painting the sign with this off-white, just mix a little bit of brown and with the white. Now, I lost the footage of me stenciling on this flower. I stenciled on the flower using pink melon and moon yellow. Once again, these paint colors are by Folk Art, and they are outdoor paint. And then I'm using this stencil to stencil on a little design that is on this stencil that I have here. And then I'm just going to freehand on the words that I had chosen: sow, weed, water, and grow. And I'm not putting them straight. You could put them straight if you wanted to, but I wanted to give a little bit of whimsy by making the words just, kind of catacorny, or however you want to say it. But they're just not straight. And now I'm going to just use a piece of jute rope to make my hanger. You could also put a wire hanger on this one, but I decided to make it a little bit different. And so I decided to use the jute rope for that. And I'm just using my staple gun to attach the rope to the back of my sign. And then I take my sanding block, scuff it up a little bit. Now I do put a sealant on my projects to protect them from the weather. This is it. Okay, let's take one final look at all of these projects. Okay, that's all for this video. Let me know, do you plant a garden? Do you plant just flowers or vegetables? I like to plant both. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.